Hello, federal employees. I'm JT, and this is all about FERS. What does the retirement application process look like, and what are some things to watch out for? Well, let's go through the retirement timeline, and I'll give you a checklist of items for every step of the way. Now, this process takes maybe a little bit longer than you were thinking, but 90 days before retirement is when you want to start this process. You want to fill out the form SF3107. That's the application for retirement. You're going to get this form from your HR department. We've tried to go around HR before and find the forms ourselves and just submit it to them, maybe try to save them one step, and they don't like that. It's better if you go directly to your HR department and request the form. They'll send you all the documents that you need. So fill out the form, and then the second step is really important. Have a financial planner review the SF3107. This is where a lot of people make mistakes, and as you can see, this process is pretty long, so it's important to make sure that every step is done correctly. This is something that we'd love to do, but make sure that somebody who's knowledgeable about this process reviews that paperwork for accuracy. Once you submit your application to your HR department, this is the time period when they're going to transfer all of your information over to OPM. They're going to transfer your FEGLI, your life insurance, your FEHB, your official personnel file. All the information that your agency held will be in the process of transferring that over to OPM. About 1 month after you submit your application, or 45 days prior to retirement, you'll want to obtain a copy of everything. Get a copy of your official personnel file from your HR department. And if you haven't yet, but ensure that you have all the copies of your SF50s and all the copies of your LESs. Yes, all the copies. I know that can be a lot of work to go find all the SF50s and all the LESs, but you want to have copies of everything. You want to have all the information at your fingertips so they don't have to rely on your agency or the OPM to find that information for you. Again, this is going to be important to streamline this process and shorten it as much as possible. So at the 45-day mark, you're going to reach out to your HR department and obtain copies of your official personnel file. And if you haven't yet, get all the SF50s and LESs. Now, 2 weeks before retirement, 14 days before retirement, your HR should have contacted you and told you what the next 2 weeks, what your final 2 weeks is going to look like. If they haven't contacted you yet, make sure you reach out to them and get that information. If you're over age 65, you will need to submit a health insurance certificate to your HR. Again, obtain copies of all documents sent to HR, sent from HR to OPM. Copies, copies, copies. Then finally, your retirement day comes. No gold watches, but you get a pension. Now, this is success. This is a big time for celebration. You put in a lot of years. This is a big time in your life. Hopefully, you only retire once, right? Years back, I had a client that was the type that doesn't like to celebrate his birthday, doesn't like celebrations, doesn't like to draw attention to himself. So he was just planning on putting in his last day at work and then going home. And I'm kind of the type that likes to celebrate these events. So I said, "No, Bob, we are going to have a party for you. Give me a list of your friends. We'll throw a party and invite everybody. And it's going to be a celebration of your day." I can maybe understand the birthdays after 60 or so birthdays, maybe you're done celebrating, but you only retire once, so make it a big deal. This is an important time and it will kickstart the next phase of your life. Well, we had the party and he loved it and he was so grateful and excited and it really meant a lot to him. And so I'd encourage you to do something, celebrate, even if it's something with some close friends or family, but do something to celebrate. This is a big time and you've earned it. Now, 14 days after that retirement date, you're going to want to follow up with your HR to ensure that it's being processed. Sometimes we see that HR doesn't send the paperwork to OPM, that OPM never received it. You'll want to follow up and make sure that HR has sent all the documents they need and obtain a copy of your final LES. 45 days after your retirement, you should receive your interim check from OPM while they process your SF3107. This is not going to be your full pension. It's going to be somewhere between 60 and 80%, average about 75% of your pension amount. And remember, there's going to be deductions from there. You're going to have your survivor benefit deduction, your taxes and insurance is deducted from there. So don't be alarmed when you see a reduced amount. OPM will send the extra dollars later on, but you're going to get that interim check to bridge the gap between when your actual pension comes in. And that comes about 60 to 90 days after retirement. You're going to receive a booklet in the mail. This is going to look like junk mail. Don't throw it away. This booklet is very important. It's going to have your CSA, your civil service claim number in there, and you can use that number to access your online accounts. It's going to have everything you need to know about your retirement going forward, so don't throw it away. And that's when OPM will make the deposit into your bank account, and this is when all of that back pay will come in too. You know, they sent you that interim check that was a reduced amount. They'll back pay you and make up that final amount. And this is also when your first supplement, if you're eligible for it, will be paid as well. It doesn't come with the interim check. It comes in with your regular pension amount 60 to 90 days after retirement. As you can see, this is a long process, 90 days before to 90 days after. This is potentially taking 6 months if everything goes according to plan. But there's lots of places in here where things can get delayed. Usually that happens with HR sending documents to OPM, or OPM never received the documents. So how can we streamline this process? Remember, we can't control HR department. We can't control OPM either. We have to focus on the things that we can control. So that's why we really stress getting all of the documents in your possession. Get copies of everything. You're going to want to have cash set aside for all of those living expenses because this can be drawn out. We've put together a really great checklist here that lists every step of the way, all of the days leading up to retirement and the days after retirement and everything that needs to get done during those periods. I know this process can be a little long and complicated. If you have any questions, please reach out. We'd love to help out where we can. Until next time, happy planning.